That may have been the most exciting hockey game I've watched all season. Let's talk about it. And well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Y2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. If you enjoy what you're watching and you're brand new, please like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. If you're returning, welcome back. It's good to have you again. All right, so let's talk a little New York Rangers hockey. You know, yesterday we did a little video on Filip Chytil, who has been one of the Rangers' true breakout performers of the season, especially over the last 10 games or so. And one of the things that I said at the end of that video, I said, watch how he plays in the second half of the season. He's heating up, and the better he plays, that's great. But as an impending free agent, with the Rangers' tenuous salary cap situation, he might be pricing himself out of New York. Well, 9 days, 10 days off did absolutely nothing to slow Filip Chytil down. He had an absolutely amazing game last night at Madison Square Garden as the Rangers beat the Calgary Flames in overtime by a final score of 5-4. Now, there's a number of things that we could talk about in this game, but Chytil is really the headline in this game. He scored the Rangers' first two goals, the first one coming off a wrist shot. As he scooped the puck off, Kaapo Kakko's pass off the boards, snapped it right past the goaltender, Jacob Markstrom. Very good goalie, by the way. So, beating him is not usually an easy task. But I really liked his second goal, where he stole a pass from Calgary. Calgary had the puck in the Rangers zone. Chytil just anticipated it, picked it off, and with his amazing straight line speed, flew right down the ice and beat Markstrom on a breakaway. Now, the Rangers, on one hand, it was kind of a frustrating game because they blew three separate one-goal leads in this game. The most annoying one, definitely the most frustrating one, was the third goal. All right, so the one that made it 3-3 when Andrew Mangiapane clearly kicked it in. It was a pass being sent in from the corner. Mangiapane was skating towards the goal, towards Jaroslav Halak's left side, and the replays really appeared to show him kick that puck into the net. The replays to me were very clear. The Garden crowd thought it was very clear that he kicked it, but the officials and the review, the czars in Toronto, Canada, said no, it was a deflection, the goal counted, and it was determined to be the tying goal, and it was 3-3, and I gotta tell you, as frustrated as I was, I could deal with a loss, that's one thing, especially when the game is, that good, when it's that entertaining, but to have it snatched away from you, I gotta tell you, I was getting pretty worried at this point, because when you have all these one-goal leads and the other team keeps coming back over and over and over again, I find when the Rangers do this, they tend to score that goal very late in the third period or in overtime. They may not lead at all up until the very end of the game, and I just had a sick feeling, especially without Igor Shesterkin in the game, that the Rangers were going to be prone to giving up the go-ahead goal in this game. And as it turned out, 2 minutes later, Michael Stone takes a slap shot from far away. And even though Jaroslav Halak, I thought, made some big saves in this game, that was one he wanted to have back. Calgary takes a 4-3 lead, and at this point, I'm just absolutely livid. I was so frustrated with blowing this game because the game had been so entertaining. It had been back and forth. This game had everything in it. A ton of hitting, great skating, beautiful passing, great shots, a bunch of shots ringing off the post. Calgary hit 4 posts off the top of my head that I can remember in this game. It was super entertaining. I even tweeted one of the Rangers podcasters and said, sign me up for a Stanley Cup Finals between these two teams right now, because it would be so good for hockey with this brand of hockey. And it just made me sick that the officials were going to step in and be the determining factor in the outcome of this game. Well, I got to tell you something. Mika Zibanejad, Artemi Panarin, they said not so fast. This is a combination that we didn't know was ever going to work together. Zibanejad has been playing with Chris Kreider for the most part over the last couple of years, but Gerard Gallant likes to shuffle those lines up, as we well know, and the combination of Zibanejad and Panarin is starting to work. With 7:05 left, Panarin's behind the net. He flips a pass out to in front of the net on the backhand, and Mika Zibanejad finds his way to the net uncovered, flips it into the net, takes it home to tie the game, and it's a tie game. Now, it wasn't easy getting to overtime because with 2:41, Vincent Trocheck takes a tripping penalty, absolutely the right call, no complaints on that, and the Rangers killed that penalty. Now, Calgary, they hit a post early on in that power play. It was pretty scary. But the Rangers do survive that, and they find their way to overtime. Now, I was very happy to see Filip Chytil get the opportunity to start the overtime as hot as he'd been. And Chytil actually had a chance to win the game at the very end of regulation. He had basically a 2-on-1 where he actually passed the puck when he actually had an opportunity at shooting, and the Rangers never got the shot off as the Calgary defense was able to smother it. But he had the opportunity, and he had two great chances to end the game in overtime. He had a shot from the slot that Elias Lindholm he dove to smother it. And then on a pretty juicy rebound opportunity, Jacob Markstrom makes a great save. And man, the Garden crowd was into this. And I got to tell you, during the regular season, the Madison Square Garden crowd, I feel, can be a little bit hit or miss. If the game's into it, if they're into it, if the game's good, they're loud. But if it's another ho-hum game, they can be pretty quiet. They were buzzing most of the night. I got to give them a ton of credit on this one. So then with 3:35 to go in overtime, Nazem Kadri was taking the puck down the ice for Calgary. He unleashes a shot from the right faceoff circle from Halak's right, and he's skating in. Another one of the Calgary players is skating in, and they're kind of trapped behind the goal for a second. And Alexis Lafreniere, who I thought had a very smooth, he is so much better when he plays with Chytil and Kakko. He just plays hockey. He doesn't overthink things. He just skates. He just plays. He displays his talent. He just plays with extra confidence when he's with those two players. It's hard to know why it is, but I just love watching him play. And I have been screaming that Lafreniere just needed a little bit more time. Every time I hear the B word, a four-letter word that starts with B and ends in UST, it just drove me crazy. Because to me, you can't give up on a kid this soon. You can't write his career off. And when he just plays hockey, to me, he's shown that he can be a really, really good player. I don't know what his ceiling is. I don't think any of us do. He may not ever live up to being a number 1 overall draft pick, okay? But I think he still has the potential to be a 30 to 40 goal scorer in this league. So he grabs the rebound, okay? And he has patches and patches of open ice. He is streaking down the ice in a straight line, and he has a 2-on-1 with Mika Zibanejad, and Zadorov is the Calgary defenseman who is back. Lafreniere feeds Zibanejad on a slap shot, and he unleashes a rocket towards Jacob Markstrom that Markstrom is able to save, but in doing so, Markstrom is sliding towards his right. So Markstrom makes the save, and the puck is just kind of laying there in the slot right outside the goal crease, and Markstrom is on his backside, outside just to the right of the goal. So he's got to regather himself to get back in position. Now, Zadorov, who had been on the ice, I think, at this point for nearly the entire overtime, he skates right by it. His momentum was taking him behind the goal as he's skating to get back in the play. So he misses the puck. He had a chance to clear it, but he missed it. And that gave Alexis Lafreniere, who at this point was behind the goal, because his momentum had taken him past the goal line, to skate back into play, gather up the rebound, and Markstrom's he's basically sprawling to get back in position. Zadorov is trying to get back in position. And Lafreniere just kind of unleashes a shot, and it manages to sneak its way into the goal. It sends the Garden crowd into absolute hysterics. Lafreniere wins the game for the New York Rangers, 5-4 final. What a finish this was. Absolutely fantastic. So I want to address one or two other things with this game, and mainly Jacob Trouba and his physicality. My gosh. Jacob Trouba will never be Cale Makar in terms of scoring, but Jacob Trouba has become the pace setter for this team, and that's why I don't have any issue with him being the captain. He knows how to lay hits that are hard but legal. I can understand if you don't have Jacob Trouba on your team, you don't like him because he is kind of a throwback style of defenseman, which, to be honest, we didn't see too much of up until about a year or two ago. Maybe 2 years ago. I think it's only in the playoffs against Pittsburgh, Rangers fans really started to understand how physical Jacob Trouba could really be and how valuable he could be. And give him credit. Twice in this game, he laid out legal hits, shoulder hits that did not make contact with the head. And they know this because the NHL reviewed him, and they determined there was no head contact, nothing illegal. They also did the same with one of sammyblais hits. They actually reviewed that one and determined there was nothing illegal. But Calgary retaliated. That's the key. You can't instigate these fights. And twice, different players from Calgary wanted to engage Trouba in a fight. Both times they end up being sorry as they wound up down on the ice. And it led to two power plays, one of which was huge because the Rangers scored on that one late in the second period. And that was the third Rangers goal, made it 3-2. And that was a Mika Zibanejad goal with 14 seconds left in the second period. And I do also want to mention, I thought sammyblais looked a little bit re-energized in this game. I really, really liked what I saw. Truthfully, I think I would rather see Julien Gauthier in the lineup over sammyblais. But Blais did a little stint in Hartford, scored a couple of goals. To me, like I've said, he's never been the same. I've said this in previous videos. He's never been the same since he had his knee injury. And I think maybe some time in Hartford, some time to kind of recover, find his game a little bit, did him well. I thought he played a little bit more assertive in this game, and that was really good to see. It was also pretty risky, I thought, starting Jaroslav Halak in this game. On the first game back after the All-Star break. I didn't necessarily understand the move. It still turned out to work, so all good there. And that's pretty much what I got to say about this game. So I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. What were your thoughts on this Rangers-Flames game? Was this the best win of the season? Was this the most entertaining win of the season? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.